Well, I'm all for Christmas, all the happy smiles and the wishes, and I want it all from the lights to the mistletoe.
Hi there and Merry Christmas. That was really hard. That was really hard because I know that some of you might scream now and I can hear you. I can hear that some of you scream, Louise, it's way too early for Christmas. And I totally get that. But there are, in my eyes, only two options that you have with crafting, being creative, and Christmas. The first option is it's after Christmas. That is the more relaxed time of the year, isn't it? But the other option is it's before Christmas. And to be honest, before Christmas, that can be relatively early in the year. And if you want to perhaps make some bigger projects like this advent calendar, for example, you need time. And that's the reason why I'm showing you my ideology advent calendar today and why this is a Christmas video. So I hope you will enjoy this, and perhaps you can also find some ideas that are not related to Christmas, but that you can transfer to other projects. This Advent calendar I've made for the Tim Holtz Ideology Christmas 2023 release. So this is a Tim Holtz make. And yeah, this is really exciting for me because the idea behind this Advent calendar is something that has to do with my life, I would say, and his life as well. And especially the differences between Christmas in America and Christmas here in Austria. I will divide this video into several parts because this, what you can see here, is not the only thing that you can explore about this project, because this has a backside and two sides, I think that's not a word, as well. So here is Austria. Here's the campsite where I am living. And here on the other side, oh, I'm so sorry. That makes really loud noises. I'm so sorry. Here on the other side, we can see Christmas in America, but in a special place in America, because this is Tim's and Mario's house. And I'm hoping that you can see this, especially if you perhaps have seen his Christmas home decor tour. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it down below for you so that you can check that out and that you can see how he and Mario have decorated their house. And because this project is so giant, I will split this video into several parts so that I can explain everything and that you can understand what I have done here. For this project, there will be no tutorial, no step-by-step tutorial. I think when I talk about this in a second, you will understand why, because this was totally chaotic. I had several stations in my craft room where I cut things, where I had things to dry, where I altered some things with alcohol ink, for example, or I had some pieces laying around that had to dry, which I had put some pastes on or something like that. And if I would have filmed that process, the only chance to do that would have been to put my camera into an edge of my craft room, and then you would have seen me running around. I haven't done this on my craft desk, but on several different desks that I have here in my studio, and I had no chance to film this. And another reason was that this project developed with the time. So I had a rough plan in my head before I started. And then there were so many things that I developed during my process then that it would have been totally impossible to, like make a script for a tutorial or something like that and explain everything step by step. And I think when you work with ideology, you might have experienced the same thing. Sometimes it's this like tiny details where you think, okay, I could do this, but if I want to do that, I have to do something else first. And especially the construction of this whole thing was something that I have never done before in such a way like I have done it here. So I hope you can understand that. I'm going to try to explain every detail that I have done here. And if you have any questions, then please leave a comment below the video. Of course, I can do some extra videos where, where I show you, oh, excuse me, different techniques, for example, that I have done here to reach several effects like this rust or some other things. Of course, I can do extra videos about that. That's absolutely no problem. And if you want to know more about the products from the ideology release that I have used here, then you can find a blog post link down below this video that leads you to my website, where you can find also detailed pictures of this project, and you can find the products listed below the pictures, which I have used for the single areas here. I have done that, and you have enjoyed that during my Halloween videos about my Halloween makes, because some of the items that I have used are altered relatively much so that you can't see at first glance what it was. And there on my website, you can see the products in their original condition, like they would come out of the package. So that link is down below in the description box. If you want to know how everything started, I can show you my sketch. And that's not a joke, actually. Yeah, that is absolutely no joke. I will show you my original sketch now that I have made before I started this project. And this is... I have to laugh so hard because I nearly can't believe that. But this is the truth. This is my sketch. And this is actually a bag from some bread. It was a paper bag. And when I was sitting in my kitchen to find the idea for this advent calendar, I have sketched this with a ballpoint pen to this paper bag, while there still was some bread in the paper bag. The crazy thing was, I mean, this was my orientation for the project, yeah? And then Gary, you know Gary, my hubby, who isn't my hubby, he has freezed the bread in the freezer, and he didn't realize that I had my sketch on here. And when I came back to the kitchen to grab this piece of paper, the bag was gone. And I thought he had thrown it into the trash can. And I was like, oh my goodness, where is my sketch? I need this for my orientation. And then I found my sketch in the freezer. Yeah, I have thought about this sketch for a few days, and then I have made like a little more detailed sketch about that. Also to explain Gary what I want to do. And you can see this is the more detailed sketch where I have shown him the construction of this whole thing. Yeah. And then I came from this to this. And really, that's no joke. Yeah, that is really, that was really my sketch. But that shows, and that's the reason why I have included that into this video. That is the reality with ideology. It starts with this like rough idea, a really simple sketch, and then in the end you have something like this. And for me, it's like an adventure to work with these materials, and it's just so cool how many things you can explore, find out, do for the first time during this process. It's just amazing. So let's go into this. The idea behind this advent calendar is something personal. It's something that shows opposites. This is Christmas in Arizona, Christmas at Tim's and Mario's house. The other side is Christmas in Austria, Christmas at the campsite where I am living the most time of the year. So here, I have to turn this around. We have a little sign that shows you the different directions. So this says Arizona and this says Tyrol. I don't know if I'm even saying that right in English, in German or in Austrian language. I mean, that is German, something similar to German. It would be Tirol. That's really a hard word, I would say. But this is like the English version of Tirol. Yeah. So I've done that so that also Tim can read this really well, because when I write it in like I would write it, here would be an I. So this is, by the way, an old paintbrush. I have taken that here from my studio and altered it a little bit because it was old, but not so old that you could say it's old. Yeah, you know. But I will talk about this later. Let's start here on this front side here. So I have tried to take Tim's and Mario's house as a reference for this front side, if you would like to call this the front side. For me, this is the front side and the campsite is the back side. But of course, you can see that like you want it. So his door is not red, but I had this idea-ology door and I was totally in love with this door when I saw it for the first time. And I've tried to arrange the things like similar to his home. So we have these three things here. I don't know the English name for this kind of thing. It's like a stand that holds the roof. And the position of the tree and this shopping basket is nearly like it's on his front entrance area. Can you say it like that? As well, this little lantern here, he has like a stove or like an oven here on the right side of the door. As you can see, I have changed some of the things up a little bit, and of course I couldn't include every detail of his house into this arrangement. But since I have turned his studio into a junk journal, if you haven't seen that video, you can find links to those videos down below. There's one flip through with music and one flip through with explaining everything. So I have watched his craft room like studio tour organization video and used that as a reference to make a whole journal about his studio. And since I have done that, it's like a virus with those mini thingies, yeah, all of those miniature thingies. It's just fascinating to me, and I wanted to do something similar here like I have done for this other journal, even if this isn't a journal. Yeah, so where shall we start? So first of all, I'm going to take my camera out of a really strange stand that I have just made out of two clamps. So I had my phone right into these little, clamped into these clamps. But I want to come a little closer so that you can see everything in detail. As you can see, this whole thing lights up. So I have a total of 3 tiny lights that are in here. And all of the switches are below this vignette panel. Oh, I can see that one wants to go away, but that is not like it should be. I have to glue that back there. It's really, for me, it's really hard to glue those switches of the tiny lights to something, because it seems that no glue that I have will hold, but I have a really strong double-sided tape. I will use that to glue that back there. So you can switch on all of the lights from below the panel. There's one multicolored tiny light and 2 clear tiny lights. So I will go into detail about that in a second. So as you can see, this is what it looks like when it's, yeah, like daylight. even if this is my daylight at the moment. As you can see, it's relatively cloudy and rainy. It's, to be honest, so cold here at the moment, even if it's August, but it's absolutely cold. But I wanted to show you how that looks when the lights are on, but when you have like normal light in your room. But I will also turn, roll, or what's that called? This thing down so that you can see this really like romantic feeling of this project. And that you can also imagine how this would look if the room is darker. You can see there's a little bit of daylight that still comes through this little slot of the window there, but I can't film this project when the light is completely off because my camera can't handle that. So I hope that you can get a feeling of how this looks if your room would be totally dark, because I think with the idea-ology tiny lights, you have so many possibilities to create something cozy, something that looks really romantic, or on Halloween, like Halloweenish, on Christmas, with these colorful lights that is like so cute, especially in those tiny trees. I really like that, even if I would not use such a light for my own Christmas tree here in Austria. Yeah, but I really like that. So I hope that you can get the feeling. So let's perhaps start with these little guys here. So these things that hold the roof of the house. I've tried to imitate Tim's and Mario's decoration that they have in front of their house with these little bows. So this is an idea-ology material as well, where I always forget the name, this ribbon. This is relatively fluffy, and I've made these little bows. The bells also come from idea-ology, and these little guys here, these pine cones, they are new, and I'm so in love with these. They look so realistic. That is absolutely amazing. You could use them exactly like they are. Here you can see also the original color of them. So this brownish color is the original color. Can you see this white there? That is some embossing powder. I've just embossed only tiny parts of those pine cones, because I think that it is like fake snow that Tim and Mario have on their pine cones as well, and on the greenery that they have in front of the house. And I think that looks, I mean, look, that is that doesn't even look like real snow, but I didn't want to look at like real snow because I wanted to have fake snow. And with white embossing powder, that was just so easy. I'm just in love with how those turned out. And these green thingies here came from my stash. They are actually relatively old fake greenery, so that is plastic. And then I nearly had a little accident with these little guys here, because I accidentally, you know, I wanted to emboss these as well with white embossing powder. Perhaps you can see a little bit of that here. And of course, that can't work so well because this is plastic. And when I heated this material up to melt the powder, they, got a little bit like more dead than they already are. But in the end, it was a good thing, because I could bend those little things here as I wanted. So if you have like greenery that is made out of plastic and it has its own mind, just heat them up and then you can bend them like you want. And as you can see, they will go back into the direction you've bent them before. Since once this is cold, then this stays in exactly the shape that you have put it into before. Yeah, so yeah. Here on the top you can also see this little ribbon thingy. That is something that Tim and Mario have on their stands as well. You can see that in the decoration, Christmas decoration tour video. Mario is explaining how he has made this, and I wanted to have this exactly same or nearly exactly same look. The bells, they come from Idea-ology as well. I have altered them with some alcohol ink, and then I have put some frosted crystal embossing powder to them. They come in different shapes. Even if I have used the same shapes here, you can find other shapes in the package of the bells. I will show you an example. So there are, as you can see, different sizes and different shapes. So you can also find some that look like this, and also a third version, and there are different sizes, which makes it really, really versatile. And yeah, here I found out something that I haven't known before, and where I'm not so sure if you can see that so well in the camera. I'm trying to catch that. Can you see the different colors of the bells? I have put some brown alcohol ink to the bells first, let that dry, and then I have embossed the whole thing with frosted crystal embossing powder. And when I heated the embossing powder up, the color changed a lot. I don't know if that is normal. To be honest, this was the first time that I have embossed metal with frosted crystal. I don't know if that is normal, that the color changes so much, but this is such a cool effect. This looks nearly like rust. I wanted to have it frosted so that it's not, I didn't want to have it rusty, yeah? That was not the goal, but I can imagine if you have this and then put another layer really thin of alcohol ink on top of this, then you have the perfect rust. Perhaps alcohol ink and then a little bit of heat. I could imagine that brings the perfect rust. I will definitely try that out on some other bells. Have to try that out because this is just so amazing. The color is so, different depending on the angle of the light. I really can't believe that this is just, a little bell with some mediums. It's just amazing. And perhaps you can see that one of these is upside down. Yeah, so normally when you look at Tim's and Mario's house, then the red bow is on the very top. Then there are the two bells, the pine cones and the greenery. And that's the same on all of the stands that they have in front of the house. But I have put this thing upside down. That was no accident. That was on purpose. But I thought, why don't I play around with some things that are like not in the right way? And I'm doing this because who tells you what is the right way? Because why can't I put this upside down? I mean, you can see that the bow is upside down because these little thingies, they are standing to the top. Yeah, normally when you have a bow, then these ends would go downwards, and here they are going upwards. But who says that I can't do this? And for me, it's like, with Idea-ology, you can do everything, yeah? And everything is allowed. This is like even more allowed, like with a junk journal. And that is crazy. When I realized that, that I feel that, like that this is like, it's more allowed, like doing what you want in a junk journal. That was a really crazy thought, and it was a little bit scary that I got this opinion about that, because I always was like, when you make a junk journal, everything is allowed, and that is the highest level of what is possible, yeah? But this is just one example for things that you can, in my eyes, explore with Idea-ology products. that you wouldn't have done without them. Of course, I don't say that it's something like this is only possible with ideology. I don't say that. You could do something like this with totally different materials as well. And you should use what you have. Yeah, please don't understand me wrong. I don't say that you can only do that with ideology, but ideology brings me to such things. And that's for me really important because I can grow as an artist. I can grow with my ideas. I can develop new things. And that's important to me. Yeah. So I hope that makes sense. So then here we have this little bottle and you can already see there's this 22. This is an original vintage thingy that I got from Barbara at 49 Dragonflies, and she got it from one of our viewers. And I'm just trying to show you the original piece. Where have I put it? I think I know it. I just have to run away. So here we go. I just found them. I've put them into my ideology drawer. Where else? So this is how these little guys look in their original condition. This says window markers, and I have absolutely no idea for what these originally have been used. But when I visited Barbara in Vienna, she gave me this and she said, here, look what I got. And I'm really happy that I have these. It's just amazing. These are like little nails, and look at this adorable packaging. So cool. And yeah, as you can see, they look like this, of course, without this face. And I've removed this bottom part here, just with some pliers, so that I could glue this here to this little ideology vial. And what you can see inside there is a little ideology paper. I've just rolled that up so that on the 22nd of December, you can take this out and read what the person who has filled this for you has written here. This little white stuff there is a little bit of mummy cloth. Here just some moss around. There's a drippy candle. I know that you can't see that so well because it's relatively in the background, but perhaps like this.
Well, I'm all for Christmas, all the happy smiles and the wishes.